Little Rock, Arkansas, please make some noise for Josh Johnson!
I don't know if y'all heard, and I am not an expert. I'm still learning facts about what happened as it's happening, okay? But this whole like Signal group chat thing is one of the, it's truly one of the more insane stories I've seen in a while. Because look, let's be clear with one another, okay? I can only pass so much judgment because I'm not good with two things: phones and secrets. Don't tell me a secret. Don't. You know, I try to be a good friend, and sometimes being a good friend comes with people trusting you with their secrets, and I wish they wouldn't. I really wish they wouldn't, because okay, as an example, I have a friend who she went to Barbados, and I don't think she was drinking or anything, but they drive on the other side of the road and stuff, and she came back from that trip. I try to be a good friend. I asked her how her day's going. I asked her what her trip was like, you know, just inquiring about her life, trying to make a memory together. Oh, it wasn't so funny when I told you that story about ha ha ha, right? And so sure enough, I asked her how was the trip, and she looking shell shocked. She like, I'm like, hey, you okay? What happened? And she was like, I was driving at night. I forgot which side of the road I was supposed to be on. I just felt a thump, and then I didn't know what to do, so I just kept driving. And now I just know that. Even if I wanted to turn her in, I don't know who to call or anything. I'm like, hey, anybody hit recently? By a woman driving on the wrong side of the road? And not only do I not know what to do with that, because I was trying to be a good friend, I was trying to listen, right? That was a mistake. Not only do I just know that now, but I just told all of you. Like, don't trust me with a secret. I'm also not great with phones. I'm really not. It's embarrassing. You know, I have Gen Z friends who look at me like I'm super old because I don't know what anything is. And then it doesn't help that anytime they helping me download a new app or get on a new game or something, I don't know what happens to you. I used to judge people that were older than me so hard, but I don't know what happens to you when a young person is showing you something and you just can't seem to keep your mouth closed. They showing me how to do it, and I'm like, uh-huh. I'm not old enough for tongue yet, but that's coming, you know? I used to show my granddad stuff, he'd be like, oh. Ain't no way. And so they're showing me how to use stuff on my own phone. I can't keep my mouth closed, so I know I'm not good with phones. Okay? I be handling my phone. You'd be ashamed of me. You saw me on a day with my phone, flashlight on half the time. Out here struggling, wondering why the battery died. They don't make them like they used to. They don't make them at all like these. I also talk about how they used to make phones. That's how I know I'm also getting older. I remember other phones. They don't make them like they used. That battery used to last through the full week. Meanwhile, I'm spotlighting my feet. Look like my feet are on patrol. No, it's insane. And so they're showing me stuff with the phone. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what Signal was. When I saw the story break and I saw that all of these higher ups, all these people who are supposed to be handling sensitive information at all times, classified information at all times, were using Signal. They were using the Signal app. In my head, this is how bad it is. In my head, I was like, well, didn't the government isn't that the government app? Like, weren't they just using the government app? And then someone explained to me that Signal is just like American WhatsApp. And I was like, oh, that is bad. That is bad. I'm all for modernization, too. I'm all for keeping things as modern as possible and learning new stuff. I love when these Gen Z kids are, yeah, that is a loud one. I was trying to, I didn't know what would be ruder, you know what I mean? Like, because I almost said bless you, but then I was like gonna call attention to it, but y'all are like too polite. That is crazy. I was gonna try to talk a little louder, gloss over it and everything, but y'all really at home together. I think that's beautiful that y'all could be like in the mezzanine, bless you! Yeah. No, I genuinely, when they're showing me stuff, I really appreciate it. I enjoy learning new things and everything. Sometimes I'm intimidated by how much I don't know about a program, but baby steps, you learn stuff. And when I heard that they were doing all this stuff on Signal, I was like, maybe that's too modern. Whatever happened to a phone call? Jeremy, in the movies, aren't they always on the phone doing this? Where they're like, yeah, strike. Like that. You get taken less seriously as a country when you over here calling bomb strikes with emojis. Do you know what I mean? When they make the movie of America Now and you're in it, you don't want to be in it going, bloop, 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 bloop. Because everybody old, so they got the phone on loud, and so it's all the, you know, because you keep it on loud when you type in when you old and everything. I do. Anyway, like, yeah. You know what I mean? Way less badass than like, yes, okay. 1,600 hours, all right. Mission go. Like that's at least in that Top Gun Maverick world. Imagine, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, I was like, I get it now. I get it. A part of me was like, I get it. And Top Gun Maverick did a great job of like not saying which country they were killing people from or anything exactly. You know it's kind of Russian, but like, is it really? And then sure enough, John Hamm standing there. That last sequence, they about to fly off that mission. You worried about Tom Cruise and everything. It's like, hey, these kids are his responsibility, you know? You worried about Rooster. Is he gonna rise to the occasion, you know? He gonna feel his daddy's footsteps. And then John Hamm standing there, arms crossed, and he just goes, send them. That is wild. Imagine if that movie was just John Hamm being like, tick, 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 bloop. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call real quick. Oh, they got away. And so there's all the talk around it as well. It's so hard to understand any story that comes out now because the spin is as fast as we disseminate the information. You know? So as soon as we were even hearing about this, there were people that were like, actually, they leaked that on purpose. They added this journalist to the group chat on purpose so that they could look like such a cohesive administration, and then he would leak it, and then they'd be like, yeah, we all friends. Because if you're not familiar with what happened, there was a strike that was being planned in Yemen, right? And there's a journalist that accidentally got added to the group chat, and the people in the group chat are like J.D. Vance and some heads of like intelligence and Pete Hegseth and stuff like that. And no one at first was really owning up to who added him. We later find out that I'm pretty sure Walls added him, and it this journalist didn't even think that it was real. It was so dumb. When it happened, this dude, you know, I'm assuming, because he's also a bit older. No. And he said he didn't know it was real until they actually bombed Yemen. And then he, you know, comes forward with it, hey, they sent me these plans. He had already left the group as well. When he realized, yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to be in the room. In the room like, oh. Let me go ahead and notify the right people. Because I've been added to a group chat before that I wasn't supposed to be in. It happens, you know? You just type in these random numbers, add people to the chat. One time, I was chilling on a Saturday. Because I'm also. Open it up, and it's just like 6 numbers and just one text. So they clearly just started it. And it says, you coming? I could have been a good person. I could have let them know, hey, everybody, wrong person in here. I don't recognize any of these numbers. I don't think y'all know me. But have a blessed day. But I didn't do that. That day, evil did win. And so, you know, you coming. We're waiting on you, right? And so I was like, trying to make up my mind. And then they text back in all caps, what? With an exclamation point and a question mark and an exclamation point. What? And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I don't know if I feel like it today. And they were like, we are all waiting on you. We're all waiting on you right now, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, let me get things together. And sure enough, I was watching TV and I forgot that I was doing this, so some time did pass. And finally I got another text. I was like, hello, all caps, question mark, question mark, question mark. So they mad. And I was like, oh, sorry, traffic. And they text back, traffic with a question mark. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy out here. And then they text back, aren't you upstairs? And admittedly, that was too big of a swing to take, you know? So I was like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm in traffic, like, in my mind. Like, there's too much going on right now. And they were like, come down here now, right? And then I text back, what if I don't feel like it? And then they text me, we've been waiting on you, only you, this entire time, and the wedding is in an hour and a half. And so I text back, I don't love him, right? And I see bubbles, right? I see the 3 bubbles going. That bubble is furious. It's disappearing a little bit of whoop, and then like coming right back. So in my head, they cursing me out, right? And then it finally comes through, and it's just 3 letters. It's who? And I was like, okay, thank goodness. That was too big of a swing to take. I'm glad that I'm not the bride. And I still don't know who I am in the group. And so now I'm like, hey, because now I'm curious. Now I'm more curious than I am worried about being caught. And genuinely, I was like, why didn't they just, like, if we in the same house, why didn't they just yell? Like, why didn't they? Like, most families would just be like, come on down. Why are you texting? So then I text, don't even respond to the who. I just text, how big is our house? Because to me, this must be the Home Alone house. If they are texting me, and I've been upstairs this entire time, and they waiting this long, it must be such a big house. No one can be bothered to walk up. And they text back, how big is our house? With a question mark. I'm like, yeah, how big is it? And then they text, are you not at your apartment? I was like, okay, downstairs does make sense now. It makes sense why they wouldn't come up. Okay, I get you. Everybody is on point except for me. I understand now. And so then I text back, look, yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought it over. And I just don't feel like coming, right? Quickly text back, it is your sister's wedding and you will support her. And I text back, nah, dog, right? And I knew I messed up because they tried to call me, right? Finally, I had to be like, okay, look, I'm not your relative with a question mark. I'm just like a random guy. I was just joking. But yeah, you should probably text whoever you think you're texting because they were very late. And And I just see bubbles, 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 gone, bubbles, bubble, gone, bubbles, bubbles, gone, 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 bubbles, bubbles, bubble, gone. And I know I'm getting cussed out. Like it's bubbles, bubbles, gone, bubbles, gone. And then finally the message comes through and it says, I don't have time to deal with you today. But please believe when I have the time, I will be addressing you thoroughly. I've never heard a threat like that before. Thoroughly. And so I text back, you text me. So, when it comes to the Signal chat, I'm just glad it didn't happen to me. Because I would have made things infinitely worse. They would have been like, we're go for strike in Yemen. I'm like, hey. Y'all ever ate there though? Like, some good spots. Why don't we just let the plane take a day off? Like, chill. They'd be like, who is this? And I'd be like, y'all text me, all right? Asking me who this is. That's like one of the top 5 Southern pet peeves is like calling the wrong number, and you called the wrong number, and then you're like, who is this? And they're like, you called me. Explain yourself. Who are you? You the one in my house right now with your voice. You're the intruder. Explain yourself. And so, there's this whole thing. We still don't even know the half of it of what's been going on with Signal, because we also don't know how long they've been using Signal. We don't know why they weren't using more secure methods. And then through, I'm pretty sure, a German publication, they find that some of the top brass in the government are being so unserious with their data that they were able to deliver messages just from personal emails, old emails, and I don't know, man, this is pretty bad. You know what I mean? I didn't recognize how bad it was, and I think a lot of the general public don't really feel like it was that bad because people say it's a successful mission. That's why some people think the leak was on purpose, because it's like all they did was leak a successful mission. And it's like, morality aside of what a successful mission means for a country that, I don't know, like, has anybody checked? Are we at war with Yemen? I don't know. Mission success, like, but you bombed. Why? You didn't even explain why. I feel like no one's even asking why. They're just like, man, do you see that they text the wrong number? And so you have these people appearing before Congress getting grilled by Democrats, which just doesn't really mean much, if we're being honest. It's like, getting grilled by Democrats is like getting grilled by a step-parent. It's like, you're not my real... But what are you gonna do though? What are you gonna do about it? It's like the first time you get big enough to really step to your dad, and you know you should do it, but you're like, what you gonna do though? I'll show you how to use your phone, old man. I'm training you now. We the same height. No, it's truly devastating. It's bad because never mind the fact that there are so many leaks, so many breaches, so much hacking going on, but there are still, like, potentially entities from other countries that have infiltrated through other hacks that we forgot about because we get hacked so much we don't really care. I knew a dude when I was growing up that had his house robbed so much he moved and didn't tell anybody, but left some of the stuff so they would only rob that place. Bit by bit, consistently. And it feels like that's what we do with our data. We're like, they're gonna get it. Let's just parcel it out. You know? And so you see these officials appear before Congress, and people all of a sudden are getting a very abstract interpretation of what war plans are. Because they're being asked point blank by journalists, like, were those war plans? And they were like, For a group that I'm telling you, I'm positive despises poetry majors. I know for a fact you hate liberal arts, but when they asked you to your face that they were war plans, it's like, what is truly? What is truly an outline of actions, if not enacted upon? Be fit for me? To speak truly of what war is. Does war not start in the soul? War as a concept is all around us. Love is war. Pain is war. Life is truly war. Yeah, but the text message where they said the date and the time and where the pilot was gonna be are those war plans. What does it mean to have a plan, you know? As Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. As the old Southern proverb goes, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Got asked in front of Congress point blank. This was a huge mistake, right? I'm pretty sure it was Walls, maybe it was somebody else, but he was like, no. All right, bro. Okay, do you? Oh. Because I wish I knew enough about how intelligence works, and I wish that I knew enough about how strikes work to explain fully how bad this is. But I think we know. I think we as a society kind of know as soon as you hear the whole story, like, that doesn't sound great. You wouldn't want someone to plan a surprise party like that. Imagine. Your friends try to get you together, and they talking about you so much that one of your friends accidentally adds you, and it's like, well, he's right here. Doesn't that kind of ruin the entire party? No. It's so much around phones that people don't understand. There was one thing, I didn't understand this until recently. I didn't know that you don't know, you have no idea who you are to a woman until you know how you're saved in her phone. Guys, every man in here, we are not ready for the names, for the shorthand. You know how when you save a name, it goes first, last, company? They using that line too. We are not ready to find out how we are saved in the phone. Telling, that's what telling is. I wish I was wrong. I wish it was just me. I wish it was just me getting bullied in other women's phones. These are my friends. These are people I've known for years, and then they saved me some type of way and just never changed it. Years ago, this is why I first had a hunch. Years ago, I I was with a friend, and we were hanging out. This has to be like 12, maybe even 15 years ago. We were hanging out, and she lost her phone. So she was like, can you call it for me? And so I call it, and look, we had never been romantic, you know? And we had decided a long time ago to just be friends, right? You know, and calling. I'm hearing a little. And then I find it in between the couch cushions, and my name saved in her phone was Nope. Guys, we're not ready. There's no world where we're ready for how we are saved. And okay, all right. Some of them are so accurate as well that it's like you'll never recover. Okay, I had a friend who, she was hooking up with this guy, and I guess it was a running joke between her and her friends. This is insane. To me, this is insane. It's not my joke. This was what I saw. This is what I saw because I was being nosy, because I was like, I can't be the only one. I needed to not be the only one, because Nope lasted. That stayed with me, okay? So I was like, let me see what other people are saying, right? And they say this one guy in her phone, and it just said, Little Hitler. And I was like, can you please explain why Little Hitler is calling you right now? Their reasoning was he had kind of a comb over that was a little messy. I was like, hey, you went straight to Hitler? What's wrong with y'all? There was one time where I was out to lunch with a friend, and her phone was going off, and it was facing up, and I wasn't trying to be nosy this time. I felt vindicated. Nope is not Hitler. And so I was like, it could be worse. And so her phone was going off, and then finally she went ahead and flipped it. But when she flipped it, she showed it for a second, and I looked, and it said in the phone, saved in her phone as bed bugs. And so I was like, I'm not trying to be in your business or anything. I'm not trying to. I saw when you flipped it over, because you had flipped it, because I wasn't looking until you flipped it until it was like this, and I was like, what's that over there? And so I didn't see until you flipped it that you had him say as, do you know who is bed bugs? And she was like, just this guy. I was like, does he have bed bugs? And no. He doesn't have bed bugs at his place. She called him bed bugs because she slept with him one time and can't get rid of him. And so when Walls is like, hey, sometimes people get added to the group chat under a different name, under a wrong name. Hadn't that ever happened to you? And then the nation was kind of like, no, I don't think it has. Not like that, not exactly, unless you have them saved different. You know what I mean? Unless you have this journalist saved as like War Buddy. I don't know why you would accidentally add him to the chat. It's one of the first major screw-ups of the administration where they themselves are actually like, uh-oh. oh no. Look, we didn't add him by accident, because I don't know if you saw this, but we didn't add him by accident, okay? He hacked in. Yeah, this dude hacked in. They ran with it for a day, and then it died. Because when you look at the journalist, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he doesn't look like he really hacking like that. Like that. I know he got glasses, but not everybody with glasses hacks, all right? Jeez. And so now, you know, they've been ordered by a judge to provide all of these backdated Signal chats that they're definitely gonna delete. Like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, come on now. That's like in one of those sitcoms, and the woman asked the guy for his phone, and he's like, yeah, just give me 20 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. No, it's insane. And it's like, successful mission, but by what metric? Why did we bomb Yemen? I still don't know. I mean, I would keep asking, but I'd probably disappear. Curiosity killed me. And then when they were asked, like, okay, but you're definitely switching things up now, right? Like, you've learned from this mistake, and you're gonna move on, and you're not gonna use Signal anymore. And they, under, I think, oath, went, nah, dawg, nah. Pretty bad.
We got a great show for y'all. Your headliner, you seen him on The Daily Show. You seen him all over YouTube. I need a lot of energy. Put your hands together, put your hands together, put your hands together, put your hands together. Give it up for Josh Johnson!
I've been taking stock of my friends and what's going on in our lives and everything. And just, I'll say that as men, we collectively don't seem to be doing well. Like, things are rough in lots of different areas, lots of categories. In the jeopardy of men, we are in jeopardy. Near every facet of life feels like more confusing, more difficult to navigate in a way that feels like you are definitely doing the right thing. I do believe that lots of people are doing their best, truly. I just also think that... Okay, as an example, I can't read a map. I can't, like, you give me even if you gave me a map of this building and pointed to where I was right now and told me to get to a specific bathroom, I'm probably gonna end up outside. Like, I cannot seem to read a map. As much as I try, I end up turning it. So I tried to be a Boy Scout for a little while. It was terrible. And because when you trying to be a Boy Scout, like when you really trying to go for all the badges at once, everything, and you really not getting anything, you are just being a problem in the woods. And one of the things was, like, I could not work a compass because I was like, so it's supposed to go in every time, right? And they were like, no, it's supposed to show you where north is by how it's positioned, but it doesn't have to point north every time. I'm like, oh, okay, because it's dangling. And they were like, well, did you let a magnet touch it or something? And I was like, I don't see what that should have to do with anything. Like, they're like, no, well, the compass works off like the poles of so if you touch it with a magnet, it confuses the. So you got a piece of paper telling me where I am and where I need to get. And then you gave me a cup of metal that points anywhere it wants to. And somehow I'm the one that doesn't know what he's doing. Why are we even in the woods right now? We live inside. Have you ever thought of that? Try as I might, I could not read a map. Even if you lay the thing out, where I needed to go, where I was now, and the way to get there, it's like in practice. I couldn't close that gap in my mind because I knew that the map is a suggestion. It's a good one, but the map doesn't have to do all these steps. Even the compass is a tool, but if it's spinning, we might as well be Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Like, that doesn't, this thing doesn't help me at all. I don't know where it's pointing, and it won't be still. I'm being still, it won't be still. How does that work? Is north moving? Is north on its own journey? Try as I might, I could not seem to read a map, and that is what it feels like to, at least to me, be a man now. There's a map, and the map is laid out with lots of good suggestions, and you even get tools along the way to make sure that you get to where you want to be, which is being a successful man, being a good man, being, you know, a respected man. But then in actual practice, walking that road, you're like, look, the paper says. But when I look around, it's tough. It is, especially with love. Like in regards to like love, attraction, seeking someone out and meeting someone you like, trying to take it to another level. It can be difficult because if you are, I won't even say good, if you are at least a regular man, bad men have ruined everything for you. And I'm not talking about the like, but I'm a good guy. I'm talking about if you are just a regular tax-paying citizen who doesn't do any crimes and is generally nice to people, maybe a wave. Not even talking about a good, outstanding man. If you're just a regular guy, bad men have ruined everything for you already before you got there, right? It's like they showed up in the room right before you and farted. And then you walk in and you can't prove it's not you. But you know it's not you. You know you didn't do anything. And the bad man that farted has already left the room. We're all living in his wake. You know, and it's hard to find the actual bad man sometimes because, you know, he's stealthy, he's disguised. You know what I mean? You'd have to follow him around all day. You'd have to follow him every waking minute just to have the proof that he's a bad man. You would. That's why it takes years sometimes to figure people out. You'd have to hunt him down and then take the picture and run into the room and be like, he was eating beans. Those were his farts. You just have guys that maybe don't have someone to tell them how to go about life, like that, whether you call it a father figure or just like friends in general that can be that sort of guiding light of here's how you handle each situation, especially when it comes to dating. Like who you pick to be with is a huge part of your life because it's gonna be most of your life picking people, you know? And we're not doing fantastic. And I say that as like not from a place of judgment, just from looking around. It's pretty apparent. You know, you look at the internet is fueled with so much anger, like so much hate. A lot of it is resentment for what people don't have or don't feel like they can get, you know, and it leads people to not take care of themselves. One of the most like attractive things you can do is take care of yourself. Just let the water. You know, I can tell exactly how depressed my friends are by how it smells when I walk in their apartment. Do you know what I mean? Like every once in a while you get like a little whiff here and there, and it's like, you just came back from a game of pickup basketball. It's gonna be like that in here. And then sometimes you visit a buddy and you're like, ooh, whew, she left. Yep, she's gone. No. Like I have friends who, you know, obviously friends that are trying to date everybody across the spectrum. But one thing that I have found as a point of frustration is when people don't listen to me about things that feel they feel pretty apparent. You can take my advice, you cannot take my advice. It doesn't actually affect me. I just want people to be happy, right? And so a good example is like when your friend says he's got a date and that she's coming over, and you're like, here. And then he has the nerve to be like, what? No. You know what? Here is what? What is here? Or then I'll have a conversation, I'll have a conversation with some of the women that I know in my life that will not believe me when I give them advice about men. But I have no ulterior motive. I'm just like, hey, this thing is happening. Just so you know, I'm trying to be helpful. And it's weird because we as people accept a lot of things as an idea, in a big way, right? So you'll hear men are dogs, blah, blah, blah. Every man wants one thing. All guys are after the same thing. And those are almost principles that people live by. But then when you tell your friend, hey, that's a dog. And then she's like, no, not Mark. He's so sweet. It's like, what are you doing? We just established that and there's a level of frustration that comes with that when it would be like if someone came to you, right? Like a dog owner came to you and they were like, I don't know why my dog is doing this thing. And then you told them because you're someone who has trained dogs, been around dogs a lot. So you're like, this is why your dog is doing it. Oh, you also in this scenario happen to be a dog. So then you're a dog that's trained dogs and been around dogs all your life, telling someone, because you are a talking dog, you can speak, telling them why this dog is doing that thing. And then they're like, no. That doesn't sound right. But it is. It is. No, not Mark. He's so sweet. I've known him for so long. I'm telling you, that's a dog. Not Mark. Mark is the sweetest. You don't know him like I know him. Like, I don't need to know him at all. I know the 4 facts you've told me about Mark, so I know exactly what Mark is trying to do. No, not sweet Mark. I'm like, you need to stop calling him Mark. From now on, his name is Ark, Ark, Ark. That is a dog. You wouldn't believe the conversations I've had trying to be helpful. You know what I mean? Like, especially in like high school, you know, like college. You know, you try to help your friends and everything. Conversation. Wait, you mean to tell me that this guy is just hanging around me and secretly wants to be with me and is willing to be friends with me for years just so that he might have a chance, be my friend throughout all of my other relationships, and likes to go on these, like, not quite dates, but mini dates where we go to the movies together and then we get dinner and then we go back to my place and hang out and then fall asleep together? You mean to tell me that that guy is trying to be with me? He thinks about being with me all the time. He wants to hang out with me more even. He always seems a little sullen and slow to text back when I start dating a new guy, but that's just because he's busy. There's no way that he wants to be with me. And then I have to be like, yeah, what do you think I'm doing? Oh, it's tough. And one of the things that makes it tough for like boys, but especially young men, is that there isn't a sort of roadmap, and I don't expect there to be, because like human connection is so nuanced, and what people mean to each other is going to be different by a different degree for every person. But I think that in like popular culture and as a general narrative, we have started to just straight up vilify a man's attraction in general. And it's something that I don't know how you recover from if that's the narrative that's out there. And I understand why people are hesitant. It's a thin line. It's a very thin line to walk as a dude who is attracted to someone and trying to act on that thing. Try and let them know you're interested, trying to make the first move. It's a tightrope, and it's scary to do. Not just because rejection is scary, but the thing you do next will determine how they feel about you probably forever. Because there's not a lot of going back you can do if you're friends and then you try to be more, or if you shoot your shot with a person you don't even know. All that stuff takes a lot of bravery. And it's not always going to be done right, especially when you're young, you're making mistakes, you know? Like, I remember in class, my buddy, he had the biggest crush on this girl. Oh, and we're young, and he didn't know what to do with all that pent-up energy, so he's daydreaming, and he starts drawing her. Decides to draw her, and draws a beautiful picture of her, right? Like, got her hair as if it was blowing in the wind, got her face perfect. He was a really, really talented artist, right? So he drew her and he drew him. And then, just by happenstance, because he was so lost in it, he didn't catch that the bell had rung. And so we're all getting up, we're all leaving, and then she passes his desk. She sees it, and she's like, hey, is that me? And he has to be like, oh, yeah. And he had drawn her so beautifully. She was genuinely touched. She was like, that's amazing. You're so talented. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And I don't know, I think she was just so taken aback because none of us knew he could draw that well, you know? And so she was like, can I have it? And he was like, yeah. And he was leaning on his desk right next to where he was finishing up some touches on her. And he's like, yeah, but now he doesn't want to move. Because he also drew him next to her. And he drew a version of him that is unrecognizable. He drew a version of him with abs. Y'all, we're 13. He drew a version of him with abs, with boulder shoulders, like truly looking like an anime character, just jacked, top to bottom, knuckles jacked, everything. Had the big old muscle behind the ear, everything. Hair flowing too, hair almost as good as hers. But you know, people are walking out and he already said that she could have it. And so she's like, can I have it? And he's like, oh, yeah. Leans up a little bit, and so she finally sees the other side and she's like, oh. Is that you? And my man sat there and was like, oh, nah, like that's just the, you know, the type of dude I want you to find. You know what I mean? Like somebody that, you know what I mean, like you really deserve, you know what I mean? Like you know, just somebody you might meet one day who's right in front of you. Because so much of attraction is about timing. We don't give timing enough credit. There's all this stuff like if one guy does one thing and another guy does the same thing, and the woman goes for one of the guys, it's because he's more attractive, and the other guy's creepy, or we've seen this sort of narrative play out over and over again. But what we don't talk about in those situations is the timing. When did this person say this thing? When did this person say this thing? When did this person do this thing? When did the other person do it? You know, so much of attraction is about timing, and I've talked to my friends and I've asked them before. I'm like, what are you even looking for in a guy? And I'm like, oh, you know, I just want like an honest guy. And I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there. Because so many men are such freaks that you really gotta parse out the honesty over time. Some people think that omission is dishonesty, right? But omission might be why you're in a relationship. Because if you knew top to bottom who they were immediately, it might make you hesitate. I'm not saying lie. I'm not saying be a liar. I'm saying that like honesty comes to a point. Like let's say you meet someone. You meet someone that you very much like, and maybe it's just off of the connection, seeing each other from across the room. He walks over and he says to you plainly, hi, my name, right? I don't know you, but I'd like to. Would you have dinner with me? I think that we could have a really good time. You know what I mean? You see that thing alone. I feel like that's almost perfect. That's like out of a movie, right? But an honest man, a truly honest man walks up to you. Honest from the bottom of his heart. Doesn't know how to lie. It doesn't come naturally to him. An honest man walks up to you and says, hi, I just noticed you, and I know I don't know you, but I'd like to. And I'd love to take you out sometime, if that's if that's okay, and I'll suck your toes if you let me. Do you see where he should have stopped? Do you see where a certain amount of honesty was too much? It was true in both cases, but one guy had the common sense to stop talking at a certain point. Honesty is important. Honesty is very important. But I also think if you're being honest with a person and you're being self-aware at the same time, there are things that you omit on the front end until you get to know them. Some people think omission is lying, but I think omission timed well is like the appropriate time to tell someone something. You start dating a guy, maybe it's going really well. Maybe it's a week, 2 weeks in, slept over a few times. You know, you wake up, you roll over, he's like waking up as well, and he's like, hey, you want breakfast? I make some mean pancakes. Perfect. Wake up next to an honest man. You're waking up. You roll over, he's waking up. He's like, hey, you hungry? I make some mean pancakes, and I've actually been awake for an hour. I was just smelling your hair. Been dating somebody for a little bit. You're texting, you know. Oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. You know, miss you. Miss you too. Oh, how'd you sleep last night? Oh, slept okay. You have any dreams? Yeah, actually I did. What'd you dream about? Dreamed about you. Good place to stop. Fantastic place to stop. This is where you stop. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Oh, I'm good. You know, just, waking up. Oh, you have any dreams? Yeah, dreams. What did you dream about? Oh, I dreamed about you. Oh, really? Yeah, I dreamed about you, and we went on vacation together, and then we actually had this like whole vacation plan. We were in like the Virgin Islands, and then I got us this like surfing lesson because we had talked on, the date of I want to surf. I don't know why I was dreaming about surfing, but I dreamed that we were doing this like surfing lesson together, and then like the surf instructor was like kind of hitting on you a little bit, and then like you were able to surf really well, like you took to it like a duck to water, and I was like over here falling all the time, and because you were doing so well, he was giving you extra tips, so he basically spent the entire lesson just giving you attention and everything, and then I was like fighting to not drown and just sort of laying on the board the whole time and everything, and then afterwards, after the lesson was over, he like slipped you his number, and so then we went to dinner, and while we were waiting on our food, I was like, oh, I'll be right back, and then I left the restaurant and I tracked him down, and I had a little conversation with him about, trying to steal people's girlfriends during surfing lessons, if that's something that he really does, and if he does it often. He's like, no, and I'm like, yeah, and then we took another little surfing lesson. We took a little trip down to the beach, and I just sort of pushed his, where the sand and the water sort of splash, where the wet sand was, I just sort of pushed his head into the water until the tide was sort of going over it. And so I couldn't really tell if there were bubbles or not because there's so much wet sand and everything. But I just sort of held it there until he stopped struggling, and then I woke up. I think it's important to be honest. I do. I just think it's important to be self-aware, too. know? I'm not saying be a liar. I'm just saying, like, check yourself. Check in with yourself. Know who you are. You know what I mean? Know what that's gonna sound like depending on the timing. Timing is everything. It's so important. When I was in high school, my boy, he finally asked this girl out that he had had a crush on for a couple years, right? Finally just went for it. Something about summer just made him a new man. Asked her out, and she said yes. Oh, we're off to a great start. Asked her out, you know, asked her to a movie. Asked her to a movie, and she said she wanted to see Spider-Man. Okay, great choice. Phenomenal date. We both like Spider-Man. We don't have a lot of life experience. We're crossing over heavily. So he said he'd take her to see Spider-Man. Take her to the movies, see Spider-Man. That was their date. What she didn't know, what he did was he didn't just buy their tickets to see Spider-Man. He bought out the theater. And timing is everything. Because they get there and sitting down, lights get low, previews even start, and she was like, wow, I thought other people want to see Spider-Man. I thought it was a pretty popular movie and everything. And then he turns to her. With a biblical lack of self-awareness. After she says, I thought other people would have been in the theater, you know, with us wanting to see Spider-Man. I've been hearing about it all week. He turns to her and he goes, oh, I made sure nobody would be here. Why even word it like that? What are you doing? He said that as soon as he said it, he saw the look on her face. He said it felt like she was waiting the whole movie for Spider-Man to rescue her. And that's why timing is so important. Because depending on when you do something like that, depends on how it comes off. This is a first date. Do you know what I mean? Even there are some people who would find that sort of gesture romantic if you said, oh, I'll take you to see Spider-Man. And I'll make sure we get our own private theater. Ooh, okay. That's different. But saying I'm gonna take you to see Spider-Man and not telling her no one else will be there, even as you sit down, they have the popcorn, the drinks, everything. Middle of the movie, makes his move, tries to put that arm around her, right? And because there was so much room in the theater, she did sit one seat away. Because once he said it, I don't think, he just couldn't save it. There was no aspect of the rest of the movie where he wasn't like, you're locked in here with me. He said he had to keep turning to her the whole movie when stuff would happen, be like, crazy. It's wild, right? You know. Oh. And so it can feel sometimes a bit hard to find your footing when it comes to attraction, because everyone, from the people closest to you to the people far away, feel far away. If you don't really know how to connect, and especially now, we've built a sort of like scary parasocial connection with people that we're attracted to that they can't possibly know on the other end. And then it comes out in comments online. It comes out sometimes in whole articles. There's a line between like fascination and then crossing over into something pretty weird. I don't know if y'all saw, but apparently Sydney Sweeney, the actress Sydney Sweeney, is going to be selling bars of soap that contain her bathwater. Now, if you don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, she is an actress that is like, not just like an A-list actress, she is her generation's like top bombshell. Like, people have been freaking out and lusting over Sydney Sweeney for a long time. And it is pretty creepy. It's like, don't get me wrong, she is a beautiful woman, but the way the internet makes sure that someone that you haven't met doesn't feel like a person to you is like why we have the sort of conversations we have. Because Sydney Sweeney is in not just lots of movies. She's in, Handmaid's Tale. She's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was in Madam Web. She just has range, right? She does a lot. And the way that people, every time she is on camera, every time she's even mentioned, the way that people, almost as like an understood, acceptable amount of creepiness creep on her, has been something that's like compounded over time. Like, she was in Euphoria, and then she was in other projects, and it compounded, and it started to like become exponentially creepy. And I think that this bathwater soap thing is brilliant on her part, because now she'll know the 5,000 men that need to be put on a list. Like, trust me when I tell you, if you buy Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap, you will never meet Sydney Sweeney. That's gonna be her hit list right there. It's insane. It's truly wild. 5,000 bars. It's gonna go in a second. It's not even out yet. Doesn't come out till later. Just the anticipation is like going viral. And I don't know. We might be in a very bad place we can't recover from. 5,000 bars. I'm assuming they're only gonna let one person have each bar. Just get as many people on the registry as possible. I don't even know what you would do with you. Like, that's something you would get caught with. If as a man you bought Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap, you can't let anyone in your life know you have it. That's everyone gonna look at you different. Because they'll know, as soon as they see it, they'll know some things about you. Like, you were at your laptop ready. I suppose 5,000 men who are in a rough place are going to be buying this bathwater soap, which doesn't even make logical sense. It's dirty soap. And I say 5,000 men because I'm not saying that there's no women who have a crush on, Sydney Sweeney. I'm just saying that as men, we are both grosser and more practiced at using our laptops for these exact things. I'll tell you something that I don't even honestly, if I'm being 100% with you, I don't even know if I can word this correctly so you understand what I'm saying. I know a man who knows his favorite page of an adult website by the URL by heart. That is absolutely insane. Do you know how down bad thirsty you have to be to remember http:// baddiesonrollerskates.com semicolon bracket B12 %. Parentheses 2. I'm wondering how we got here. Truly, I'm wondering how we got here, not just as a society, but with the promotion, with the soap company. How did this happen? Because you know it wasn't Sydney Sweeney's idea. Sydney Sweeney didn't roll up in there like, you know what people love? Me. You know what I can spare? Bath water. Let's sell it. That's business. I think a sick man, a definitely sweating man with an unfortunate voice said to Sydney Sweeney and me, look. Look, young lady. I believe, and this is just Jebediah Jones talking, all right? Because a lot of nasty men talk about themselves in the third person. This is just Jebediah Jones talking. But I believe that people would pay for your bath water. We make soap. You bathe. Let's make some money. Like, truly, I think that's how it went down. No? Because even in the tweets that I've seen about it, I think these are Sydney's words because they're in the quotations. But in it, she's sort of playing off of the idea that this is a thing that people have talked about on the internet before, and she's like, well, this is something people have been asked for. Figured it'd be a fun way to do it. I hope it just makes men think about taking care of themselves because I've been in some pretty gross dudes' bathrooms. That completely flipped the script for me. When I read that, I was like, what disgusting man made Sydney Sweeney go, I gotta do something. Sydney Sweeney is in your bathroom just looking around like, How the ceiling get dirty? No, I wonder what experience Sydney Sweeney had where she was like, I gotta do something, all right? I gotta figure it out. How can I get men to bathe? I'll do anything to get men to take a shower. Fellas, we're in a bad way. Because you know fundamentally every man that buys that bar soap needs it. This is rough. This is really rough. You know, because even with that general idea, right? When you hear that as a man and you tell other men, guys, Sydney Sweeney put her bath water in soap to get you to buy soap. Because she just wants you to take care of yourself. Dudes are so delusional. They'd be like, she cares about me? Wow. I like to check in on my friends. I was texting a friend. I'll read it to you. I was texting. No, I told him I was going to do it. It's fine. I was texting a friend and I was like, hey, did you see the Sydney Sweeney bathwater thing? This is crazy, right? Like, we're truly down bad as a nation and as a people. And then he responded, yeah, I can't believe it doesn't come out till June 6th.
Mira, 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 mira.